All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are live. I am David with the Adventures of the Philippine American Couple, or you guys can just simply refer to us as PAC. It is Tuesday, um, March, what is today's date? Anybody know? March 21st. Sorry. Tuesday, March the 21st. It is 7 p.m., our new summertime start time. Later in the day, it is approximately 50 degrees and been raining all day here in the southern part of the United States. We are looking very, very forward to the weather warming up. Before we go too far into tonight, if you guys would go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, share the alert bell, and then tell the entire world, all of your friends on YouTube tonight, that we are live so that we can get to know everybody. Feel free to let me know if you have a link you want to drop or a topic you want to talk about. It is always very interesting and exciting when we talk about being an expat, traveling to the Philippines, traveling to other countries, the rules, the regulations, the laws, what it's like to be there, not to be there, bringing your spouses to the United States, living there permanently. All of these things are very interesting and can be very complicated. And oh, by the way, we do have a new membership category. So if you'd like to become a member of Team Pack, or the community as we call it, you're more than welcome to do that. We highly encourage you guys to reach out to everybody else and to be a good member of the community. Without any further ado, let me welcome in the man, the myth, the guy from the north, a Yank in the Philippines.
Wow, what an intro.
You like
Oh,
that?
oh yeah.
Pretty smoking, huh?
Oh, heck yeah. Now I gotta stay.
I just got to blow and smoke right up your butt, isn't
Oh,
it?
what a beautiful surprise I had today.
Oh, yeah, what happened?
When I took my car to the dealer, I'm thinking to myself, this car's either got 63,000 or 163. And it probably would show the 100,000 mile marker
Sure.
nowadays. So I walk in there. I said, well, the other day I looked up We Buy Any Cars. It said 3,400. I thought, man, I ain't even gonna get half of that. So I walk in at the dealer I bought it from today. I bought it 3 years ago for 6,000. So
Let's welcome in Kiko, my friend.
I walk in there and the guy doesn't even say to me, "Hey, how much? How much you want for it?" Didn't say. All he says is, "I'll be back with a number." And he comes back and I'm looking at it. And I go, "Well, how much of that I get?" He goes, you get the whole thing." I said, "Well,
Nice.
I'll take that 5,500."
Well, good.
Wait,
See,
Yeah,
we
was this
want.
an auto dealer, Tony?
oh, it's a Toyota dealer.
Really?
Yeah, man, shocked me. I'm thinking this guy either thinks I'm gonna turn around and put that on something, or not, or maybe I'll tell other people that I got great
So
deal.
did it have 63 or
It
163?
had, you know what? In today's cars, I think when you turn over that 100,000 mark, it's on there.
It shows.
Unlike,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a digital number now.
so it was probably, when I bought it, it said 63, and then I mean 61.
Yeah.
So it only cost me $500 to own that car.
So
Wow.
you only put 2,000 miles on it in 3 years.
Yeah, I bought it. It was 61 upper 6,100 or 61,000, and I didn't drive it last winter. So all I really did with it was go from the store and back.
Did it sit
Once a week.
outside the whole time?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he'll probably sell it for 8 or 9 thousand. So they're going to make
But
money.
oh, sure, he'll put it, but more than that, man. I mean, I'm thinking, well, I'm all in my mind. I'm thinking, well, this guy's going to say something like
3,000.
1,000 or something, so
Ah,
I'm not ready for that. Or
Tell me,
500.
did you buy it off a private owner when
No,
you
I
bought
bought
it?
it from the dealership.
Wow.
well, the car
So,
market has just changed so much in the last few years. That's probably a big
like,
factor.
like, like I was saying, maybe there's sometimes they do things to get you tell other people, like I am now.
Well,
I
if you
don't know.
look at Toyota dealerships, there are no brand new Toyotas sitting on a dealership lot. It's all used cars.
Well,
They're having a
Yeah.
serious problem of getting new inventory.
Yeah.
they had, Honda had that issue back 2011, but I forget what it was about back then. But they had some nice Tacomas there.
Those are way overpriced and oh man, trucks. Whew.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had F-150. The only truck I ever owed money on that I made money on. And I went to what is that national chain? CarX,
Mhm.
and the guy gave me $1,000 off over trading, and I didn't care. I paid it
Well,
off. I
I've
did.
always owned trucks, but and I've always owned nice ones. But one thing you learn the older you get, you learn how to be smarter.
Oh yeah.
And after retirement, I had a brand new truck that I paid cash for, and it sat out in the driveway.
Hmm.
So we wasted a bunch of money on that damn thing
I,
sitting in the driveway.
I like the size of the Tacoma. It's
Yeah.
perfect, but I'm not staying here, so.
Well, when we
So
came back, I picked up a Dodge Dakota 2008.
yeah, I saw that red one.
Yeah, so I picked up a used one that sits out in the driveway for
So
9 grand versus 60,000.
um, lately, I've been putting the car in the garage, and I had the Camaros outside. So when I left this morning, I thought I'll be only gone an hour, and I went out, used the car. I had the programmed into my button, my car button, and then the guy drops me off, and I thought, oh shit, man, how do I get in the house? So, so I'm going, son of a bitch, because I've been doing that for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
So, in this, I had been parking it outside rather for 3 years.
yeah,
So when I did the in one, I didn't think anything of it, and I got home, and the door I got in the back, none of the keys I have, it was a handset already on it, pretty expensive one too, and none of the keys would turn it. The deadbolt I had the key for, but the other one I didn't. I thought about breaking it, but I couldn't even do that.
yeah.
So I called them up, and they came back. I called them 3 times because the lady kept transferring me. The first 2 times, I said, third time, I said, give me somebody a used car department, because don't transfer me,
Yeah,
because I'm still standing outside here.
that's fun.
Yeah, man. I'm like, oh,
Well,
if I know.
technology these days, man. I mean, our this new house here, the garage door opener is so smart that it goes to your phone and lets you know every time it opens and closes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can open it remotely on your phone and all that crap. So
I don't understand a driverless car. It's like to me that's just that pointless frickin'.
it's no fun.
It doesn't. All you're waiting for is a catastrophe, and it's gonna happen.
Well, but driving's fun, guys. I enjoy driving.
I do too.
You
I
know.
do too. I just can't believe that they show a car commercial and you can let go of the wheel. What the hell?
Yeah, the van we had before we went to the Philippines, you could it was so smart that it would track the road and you could literally hands off and it would make curves, not corners, but curves and everything at high speeds and just
See, they've been doing all these tests with the semis on a nice clear. I guess they're only going to be used on a clear, flat surface.
Yeah.
It would, and I just think it's a waste of technology and brain power. And why? What the fun of getting in the car is so you can control it.
Yeah. So Kiko, what are you up to today up in your part of the woods? Anything exciting?
No, I just come down to Mama's house to spend the evening with her overnight
Nice.
through tomorrow.
Oh, you had a sleepover, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And listen to Tony's story during the day about him getting rid of his car. That was good.
Yeah.
He didn't answer.
I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait till the day he had to get on the plane. I was gonna offer him $1,000 for it.
That's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I'll take it for $1,000.
Uh,
They'll come get it. I'll send you the money in the Philippines.
My
So
friend
there's
every
a big difference, Tony. If it had 163,000, I can't see him giving you that much money. But
these guys know their cars,
I
and
guess.
yeah, I too, in the back of my mind, I'm going, oh man, they'll be giving me. They would never. They ain't even got. I'd be lucky to get $1,000 off a car with that many miles.
Yeah,
And,
it did. It had the, plus, yeah.
and XLE too, and
Yeah, and not even trading in to buy something from
no,
them. They're just giving you money. I mean, that's crazy.
yeah, that
So
was
when do you sell the Camaro?
what's that?
When do you get rid of the Camaro?
I
He
don't.
didn't. Yeah,
Okay.
They're outside there. They still have.
No.
I'd take the Camaro down to him too. Say, how much you giving me for this?
Yeah. If I'd have known that, man, Jesus, yeah. Let me come back tomorrow.
Say, look, this only has 4,000 miles on it.
When I saw that, in my mind, I'm going, all right, I'm waiting for this guy to ask me. I'll say 1,500. One of my friends that retired after me, he said, I was talking to him because I was locked up, and he was down by his son's house, and I said, man, I told him how much the guy gave me, and he says, he goes, you asshole, my kid would have gave you 2,000. Well, it'd have been short of what I got, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm sure your kid would have, but hello.
I was gonna send Kiko a message and say, "Hey, man, I'll sell it to you for 1,000."
Yeah.
But
Now you went and sold it out from underneath him, and he can't buy it at all. So I think you got to pay him reparations.
reparation hanging, man.
So you have now.
I told him you live in Butuan, that should last you a year. You don't do too much spending while you're there, so
That's it.
your internet's what, $12 a month? You said.
Yeah.
13. Well, the thing is, I got a brother-in-law that it's he knows how to. It's supposed to be just for the phone, but he works magic, and I can get TV info.
Are you like Chris Wren? Are you living there rent free?
Well, it's my property. I paid for it, so I'm not like Chris Wren.
I want to live rent free.
I just
You mean the one in Butuan where
yeah.
you're living now?
No, well, our land, yeah,
With the in-laws and stuff living with you?
No, not that one. I got land with a Beverly Hills Billy's Tennessee house there.
Oh, those are nice.
I know, but the one when you were broadcasting from there.
Oh, that was
when you're laying on the floor.
No, that wasn't Bonga. That was no, that was her rental. She rented it to somebody else, I guess. I don't know, because I saw the furniture that used to be there. It's over. It's back. It's in her place in the city. Well, they're a hop, skip, and a jump away from the wet market, So
yeah, but I mean, all your videos. Remember when you busted your toe? You're walking out. Where's that?
Oh, yeah. That was in the squatter area.
Yeah, isn't that where you're going back to?
Yeah. But I'll be having my box. I'll be moving my boxes out to the place. So.
Oh, but I mean that's your in-laws' place, right? This in the
yeah. Oh yeah.
So you're going to be moving to another location?
Yeah, where my land is, and with that one-room house I got.
Oh, you got a one-room house. What's it made of?
Wood,
Boo.
One wooden house,
bamboo floor. That needs to be
right?
some help.
Has it got the amaka on the walls?
No, no,
The
no,
woven,
no.
the
So no, it's
woven stuff.
plywood. It's plywood.
Oh,
It might
oh,
turn
is
into
your
a
wife home?
a chicken whatever pen.
Are you gonna build a real structure on the property?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What, hollow block or what?
Hollow block?
yeah. Concrete block. Yeah, yeah. I got an idea for one. Usually, if you don't want nobody to move into your house, you build a two-bedroom. But I want to see how much this floor is going to be because I want one room to be a media room and maybe the mother-in-law live in the way the house is designed. The back room
She'll live
is
out in the dirty kitchen.
yeah, it's a dirty kitchen and it's off of that and
Right,
it's all enclosed.
right.
It toilet's separate from the
You will
shower.
give her a roof, right? Yeah,
Eh,
maybe.
I'm a
Yeah, you
nice.
gotta give the mother-in-law or the yaya their own little space
But
close to the
but if
kitchen so they can do the cooking and the cleaning for you.
she doesn't work at the market anymore as much, nearly as much as she did. Good kids are down there. So if the father-in-law still works down there every day, but
So do they sell stuff there, Tony?
sell stuff where
At
At
the
the
market?
market.
it's a wet market. Yeah, they sell fish and pork.
Really? Where do they get it from?
I don't know.
You're in
They buy it. They buy it off the boats, and then they're like the middle people, and
No, I don't know where their sources are. It's
so they just magically sell fish and pork every morning.
well, they
It's got
get
to
they
come
get
from somewhere.
what happened with the fish is they used to get it from places like that Lake Mannet, but it they put
Unbelievable.
in a they put in a hyd
Hello.
hey John, they put in a hydroelectric
Listen,
plant. So
John.
now the guy where they get their
All
fish
the
from, the
Carl.
guy has a fishery, so it's
Oh,
it pens. So
right.
the pork in that are I don't know what their source is.
Hi, John.
John, Carl.
Yeah, good to have everybody here. John is always causing trouble in California. I'm sure. Carl, how are you guys tonight?
Well, according to Lorelei, I cause trouble on the internet on
You do.
YouTube.
You do. I've seen you do it.
Well,
I could take and make video clips of your troublemaking.
bullshit. Yeah, yeah.
So what now, Tony? If you want to go anywhere, do you got to drive the Camaro?
Yeah. Well, I ain't going
Yeah,
anywhere.
you're not going anywhere.
Am I going
You
to the
got
spring
what?
ever again?
17, 18 days left. Go out. Yep.
I got
With all that money, go out and have a nice meal
I got
somewhere.
a little over 2 weeks. I'm going to use that for probably construct the wall around that place.
Yeah.
John's watching from the free world.
Well,
He can't be in America then.
If you sell the Camaro, you can build a whole other structure for your mother-in-law.
yeah. So I mean, it's a 545 square meters. I think is 136 square feet. So that's 4 times 136. So the back walls will be like 10 feet high, and the front one will be 5 or 6. But it depends if the father-in-law and the mother-in-law don't want to live out there, I'll change my plans, and as long as I got my media room. I like the layout of the one I'm looking at because it's the
Carl's shop.
kitchen the kitchen counter space is phenomenal on it,
Well, that's good.
and
Yeah, when about 10 years ago, the house my wife grew up in was wooden, and it got destroyed by a typhoon that hit
oh,
the east coast of Mindanao. And so I asked her, what it would cost to,
hmm.
build her a cement one. And, she got an engineer. She knew somebody who was an engineer, and they did the drawings. It was 4 meters by 11 meters. Okay,
Hey,
is the structure. That's
Yeah.
like 12 feet by 33 feet.
Yeah.
And it was just for her aunt, but he put two tiny bedrooms. And when I say tiny, I mean enough for a single bed and
Yeah.
about 2 feet. You know, he had 2 bedrooms, and all of that for $2,500.
2,000.
Cement under roof, a good metal roof, $2,500. So
Did you guys see where they're having an oil spill in Mindora? That's been making people sick. Did you guys see that in the news?
no,
Carl, we appreciate you coming by, brother. We really do. We all appreciate that.
hello, Carl.
And chime in. And, but yeah, I've been watching the news a little bit in the Philippines, and they're talking about there's
Did this just happen?
yes.
Now, is it a refinery there that spilled, or a tanker?
Well,
Where did it spill?
I think it's a boat.
Yeah.
What they've been talking, what happened last week, or a couple weeks ago, apparently, and they keep updating how many people are getting sick. But the spill is ongoing because the United States has just sent over some experts to help them understand. John
What's this
said
about?
that
What are you talking about?
an oil spill in Mindoro, the Philippines.
Oh, up there. Okay.
Yeah.
Mindoro.
But they've had 191 people getting sick. It doesn't say if anybody's died yet.
Well,
But last week there was 176
Is
cases.
it spilled into the ocean and
Yes, it's in the bay
it's
there.
on the beaches now, or a bay or
that's
something?
Yes.
if it flows north, it's going right into Cavite and all that.
It says it's the MT Princess Empress, which carried 800,000 liters of oil, sank off a Nojawan town in Mindoro on the 28th.
Mindoro.
Yeah, Mindoro, but it's Najawan maybe. The oil spill has since reached Palawan and the Verde Island Passage. So they sent over Americans to help them figure out how to contain it,
Engineers.
how to clean it up and neutralize it.
You gotta take that shit and ship it over there all those man-made islands by China and let them deal with it.
Yeah. John says it's messing up the coral reef and sea life. Actually,
sure.
absolutely. And now they got about 200 people that have become sick because of the secondary and tertiary contamination of the species.
People are gonna know people they're all gonna be sick by association now.
Absolutely. Hopefully they don't do what they did in the Gulf of Mexico and throw a bunch of dispersements down.
Mindoro was right. It's just south of
Make it worse.
Oh.
Mindoro is a big island south of Manila.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. South of Cavite there.
And did it say what city or port that it spilled by? What the name of the town is?
Yes. I'm gonna try to. I'll try to pronounce it. It's called. It sank off of Naujawan, Naujaan town.
Yeah, Nawajan. Yeah.
Yeah, in Mindoro.
Naujan.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where it crashed.
And it sank.
It sank.
Wow.
It's not saying quite why it sank.
Saboteurs.
But it sank with 800,000 liters of oil. So that's one of their environmental crises that's going on at the moment.
Oh.
So, but yeah. I always like to try to read some news to make our brains smarter, And they said that they're sending over 4 American.
My wife watches that like ABS-CBN every day.
Yeah. The American experts have arrived in Mindoro to help the Philippine oil spill.
ANC speaks English. That's the one I watch.
Yeah.
But Duterte, I think, took them off the air when he was there.
So we're just spinning it. We're sending in subject matter experts to help them with the stuff. The what it does kind of say here is since we are sending in U.S. experts, I guess that's going to open up some U.S. money.
Of
Maybe
course.
that's why we're doing it. They're doing it. Maybe that's
The
why the
print
Philippines
presses,
want our
the printing presses are running 24/7.
Never
yeah,
stop in
yeah,
this country.
that's right. My God, it's freaking
I don't know
crazy.
why they want us to go cashless.
Yeah. Yeah.
There would be far more cheating and effing up everybody's systems if it were digital. That would be such a catastrophe.
Well, here's something that I've studied a tiny bit about because I live in the world of Walmart. You know, is it's a little scary to be honest. What's going on a little bit. You know, Walmart has been throwing a hissy fit about the theft and loss prevention going on at their stores. They're saying it's out of control, it's outlandish. So we have to put all these measures in place to prevent theft now, and we're going to check your grocery bag, and we
They
can
don't do that no more, man.
well, they are.
By
And
us,
Oh
we
yeah,
can,
in places they do.
by us, they stopped asking for the receipt when you leave.
if you're black or Mexican, they do it. So,
They listen. I can attest to this. I'm a white, and it had. I went in the store once to I forget what I was getting, some ink, copier ink, and I bought something else. And there was nobody in electronics. And I like when I go in to buy something, I zip around, get the hell out of there. I don't want to spend a half a day in there. So all these, all of a sudden, I noticed they're watching me, and they got these four young people standing there like they're going to tackle me. So I go another direction, and I felt I didn't. I felt like saying something, like, hey, why don't you just come do the shit for me? I said, you know what? When I went down back to electronics, there was nobody there. But when you guys think I stole something, there was everybody there.
but see what Walmart has done, they've enacted these self checkout lanes, right? So they've gotten rid of employees, so they don't got to pay them. So they've gotten rid of cashiers, and they have these self
Yeah,
checkout lanes that we
Right.
do all the work, right?
they got both there. They got
Now,
both.
what's happening, and there's going to be some lawsuits and some drama about this coming out, and there still is, and there are, is well, Walmart, and this is kind of sneaky on Walmart's part. Like, let's say if I accidentally forget to scan a can of Coke, all right. Well, they got my face, they got my data, they got all my information. So they're collecting this data. Then, if you're a repeat offender, once it meets felony level, they prosecute you for it and/or send you a bill in the mail for the things that you either stole or misscanned over the period of time. But yet they're complaining since they got rid of the cashier, they're having a huge theft problem.
Well,
But that's because they don't have anybody bagging groceries anymore.
But what do you
yeah,
mean? How are they reconciling that, David? Are you saying if someone checks them when you? I like
yeah.
we've had people. Let me look at your receipt. But I've heard legally that's not. They can't do that because it's now your property because you just
When
purchased
when
it.
you
That's the
when you
problem.
So,
when you
so
walk
they have
out
no right to. Yeah, that's illegal search and
when you walk
seizure,
out,
right?
well, people have been arrested for sticking up for that right. But what they do by us is when you of course they watch it, got cameras above all the self checkouts. I got a couple of cashiers, but only about 2 out of 3 out of 12. And then you're going, and I used to show them it because I didn't want to put their mind at ease. Now they used to look in the bag and the receipt. And this old man had a large item. I don't know if it was a TV, but he was outside with the hand cart. And the Walmart employee coming in, these guys used to ride the bus that I was driving once in a while. He says, "Well, sir, did you pay for that?" He goes, "What the fuck do you what do you think?"
Mhm. Well,
When
but part of
I have walked in there a couple of times, man. Like I said, I went right back to lawn and garden because I wanted some grass seed. It was after the season, so it was cheap. All of a sudden, this kid comes running out the door looking, and I'm the only one there. So I know
so
why
part,
they're I know
part of
why
it
they're doing it.
part of what's going on with Walmart right now is they're increasing the prices of everything, and they're saying it's because of all the theft that people are stealing because they're not paying for it when they
Well,
check out.
you know,
So just listen a second. So what they're doing is they're saying there are self checkout lanes that they put in there to fire employees now, and they don't care about it. That's okay. But they're saying people are stealing because of the self checkout lanes. But they're the ones who put them in and got rid of the
Right,
employees.
right.
And now they're
Yeah,
raising the prices on everything because they say, Walmart says their percentage of theft is way up.
all right.
Just
well,
hire the
hey,
workers back.
Well, it's
hey, I'm here.
up to them
I'm
to
here.
do something. If they've got
I'm,
cameras in their stores, don't they have someone monitoring those cameras?
They do. And that's part of the problem is, well, there's two folds going on from with that is you do have these idiot, uneducated people that are in loss prevention, who think they see something and they make a big deal out of it. So that's part of the thing you see on the internet. But the other thing they're doing, which I think is kind of dirty, is there's a case out there now of some like 60-year-old woman, old lady, who over the course of 3 years apparently forgot 10 different items over 3 years to scan. So she's bagging her groceries, she's doing her thing, but since they have her identification through the card you pay, right? They can track you. This is where I'm going to the technology crap. So they can track what you buy, where you live, and who you are. That's why, when you get home and you get emails from Walmart saying, hey, by the way, would you like to buy this item? They know who you are and they track you. So when this poor woman, after 3 years, she missed 10 items, they sent her a bill for over $400 for punitive damages and the items that she missed.
they don't
David,
have.
how do they know she missed them? Was the
Yeah.
person
The
when
scanner,
she was going out the
scanner.
door checked her?
No. The computer. So
Absolutely.
look,
Okay, but if you've never scanned it, how does it know you've missed it?
the camera watches it. That's associated with each register. So it's not only just that little camera in front of you. There's another camera right above you in this manner. And what a lot of people do is they will leave it in the cart, but the computer system's able to spot this crap. They really are. They're able to assess your cart and scan the items. But what happens? But what happens a lot of times is this, and what they're really doing, and this is the bad thing. So it's not about the people that are truly trying to hide it and steal it, but little grandma takes her box of raisins, and she goes to scan it across the scanner, and it doesn't ring up.
Right.
Because it doesn't scan right, or maybe she got
And
it on
she
her own.
thinks she scanned it. Yeah.
Puts it in her bag and goes home. Well, now Walmart's coming after you.
Well, if you listen for it to beep, it beeps when it does scan it. So
Yeah, but have you ever been in a busy Walmart? All it does is beep, 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 beep. Because I've done this. I've been scanning, and I'm like, wait a minute, is that my beep or somebody else's beep? Because it's too crowded and noisy. So you can't hear it all the time. But
I've often thought that. I mean, when I almost always now go through self checkout, and I think this is just ripe for theft because, like you said, I mean, sure, okay, so you have that camera there, right?
Mm.
Who is there to reconcile the camera with what's beeps? I mean, that's they don't have enough people to do that.
That's
You know
right.
what I
They
mean?
got a computer software system that does it, that alerts the people in the loss prevention office that they think that there's something not right.
Right.
So, but
And I'm sure the loss prevention office is fully staffed too, right?
they are. They're the ones that are fully staffed. Everywhere else, it's short staffed.
Right.
Well, listen here. They had a couple stores here that were on a African American side of town, and they shut them down because of theft. But they didn't say theft. They just said that they weren't producing.
They were underperforming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
underperforming.
Yeah.
But
Right.
in actuality, that's why they did it, because they got to lock up everything. I went in there for baby formula once, and all of a sudden it's behind the glasses. What the hell?
Oh
What
yeah,
is it?
baby for
Yeah.
shaving razors.
Yeah.
Almost anything of value now is
So
locked up. You
now you
go
got to
in to
hit
get
a
a
button.
car. I went to buy a bulb for my car, right? A headlight bulb.
Hmm.
Everything's behind glass, locked up. You know.
And they don't want to come out and say the real reason why because they're afraid to stir up.
The real reason why is because they got rid of employees.
Right.
They're
No,
trying
That
to.
would actually scan everything for you as it came down the conveyor belt. Right.
That's it. They've gotten rid of the Walmart employees who help you, and they deter theft. But instead, Walmart's going, no, we're just going to raise the price. So now a gallon of milk's going to be $12 because you people steal it. So you got to be careful about Walmart. You know, we live in Walmart country and we go there all the time. But I'm telling you, and the way they can track your purchases now is unbelievable.
Yeah, I
they
just noticed recently about the face. You know, you stand up there and there's your face right in your camera in front of you, right?
I think
You know,
they
it's
also
not so they're going to get facial recognition, all that kind of stuff going.
And they store your credit card information with that. If you buy any alcohol, they scan your driver's license now, remember?
Oh yeah, that's why we'll not. What's the sense? Why do they scan your driver's license? I
To
can see
track
showing it to prove your age,
to track it.
but well, that's why I don't buy, and I hardly ever buy beer. But if I do, I go somewhere where they don't track it. Where I go in and I hand the guy cash, and he hands me a case or a six pack, right? I don't do Walmart. I did that one time, and I'm like, wait, why are you scanning my driver's license? I'm showing you what my age is, but you don't need to scan it. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's store policy. Well, I'm sorry, I won't do that.
Yeah, well, and I've seen people not buy alcohol, and they go, "Oh, wait a minute! Oh, no, 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 thanks. I'll just
Yeah.
get it somewhere else."
Oh, I won't do it anymore.
You know. So I think, and my big point about the technology thing that we were getting on was, I think we got to be really careful about the technology, man. It's like, you know what, 1984 and Big Brother. You know.
Well, that's the way it's going to be going. That's what
the ones,
the one
the ones
world
that
government wants it to be.
Yeah.
the ones that some people they drive people to go to ones that were 24 hours. Now they shorten the hours
No more. Yeah.
and
No
they
more.
still have they I had the cop stop my pull up in back of my bus because somebody got on one of the buses when they stole a backpack or something. And I forgot to tell the guys, well, there's another bus going the other way that goes to IKEA and lays over there. So that guy might have got on that bus.
Yeah.
But you know, they put a far more attention into watching you than they do to help you.
Yes.
And that really and I felt like, you know, that's just the way I am. I go in the store, zoom, 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 I'm out. Man, I used to go grocery shopping in another town I lived in. I'd be in there 25 minutes, man. I'm out, you know.
If they have this huge theft problem, I've never seen anybody wrestle to the ground outside of Walmart because they've stole something. You know,
They're
well,
afraid.
where's okay? So why? It's like everything in society. They punish everybody for the few percent that actually break the law, right?
They closed the grocery store on a certain side of town here or in Milwaukee, and now those people got no short trip to anywhere. They got to go
Right.
wait. You know, it'll take them out a half hour to get to a food store.
Yeah.
And that's where the thievings come. But being this today's America, they're afraid to say what it is, the way it is.
Well, they could just do so many other things. There's, we're
Toy
getting to that point where we don't care about the individual people. We're getting to that point. And look, I pick on law enforcement because I think there's a whole lot wrong with law enforcement. You know, when you shoot and kill some guy who's expected of stealing something from Lowe's in a wheelchair, something wrong with your ass.
Yeah, or your high speed chase over $20.
Right. Or maybe your tag light is out,
Here where I live here, they don't put up with nothing, boy. If you don't pull over within a block, they'll pit you.
You know,
So,
and it'll lead them into major lawsuits. You
so they
know,
come in. Well, they come in from Milwaukee, where they don't stop them at all. Where speeding and running lights is crazy. It's out of control. It's too late to uh, implement it. You know, they wider sidewalks and kick out, sections of the sidewalk, crosswalk, instead of actually pulling them over when they do it. You know, when I was a kid, if you ran a light in front of a cop, it didn't matter if that guy was going home. He was going to get you. And the job I had at night, I would see this all the time. Cops sitting there while these guys are 40 miles an hour over the speed limit. They don't do nothing. Now all of a sudden, the new chief's in there. Now they do it. Well, these guys have been getting away with it for so long. They don't give a shit whether you chase them or not. It's not their car. It's somebody else's. So they don't care what happens.
well, the bad thing in society is I don't know if you guys ever look at this channel called Blind Justice. It's a vet who's blind. He's a blind vet. He's a YouTuber, not a YouTuber, but he makes a lot of videos about being blind and benefits and services that are available to the blind, how to navigate, just stuff like that, which is really cool. Really, really good videos, believe it or not.
Oh, you're
He just had a couple videos out that he was in Lynn Haven and Panama City, where he lives, I guess, in that area, at the vet center. And he's sitting there waiting for service, and he has a iPhone, which is given to him by the vet administration to help him with his vision, because he has an implant that helps him read and hear what the camera sees. So very cool technology. Well, one of the vet office workers, a lady named September, stole it from him, took it from him, and said that he couldn't have it in her office. So please come, but he's a vet. He's in the vet office, and these people are treating, it just blows my mind how shitty. We can't even just let people be in today's society. We can't let them just do what they need to do. And he was there to try to find out, hey, what services are available out of this office that I can take advantage of. And he gets treated like crap as a vet, a war vet. Just blows my mind. They call the police on him. The police come and say, we're going to trespass you. You can't come back to the vet center, which is illegal. They couldn't do that legally. And this is all played out over the last couple of weeks. And, now the police chief has said, oh, no, my officers never said that, even though it's on video that they did say that, no. And then now the director of the vet center is now involved, but yet September, the worker at the vet center, is still getting her government salary, even though she did such of a horrible thing to a blind vet. I don't get it. I don't get it. Just crazy. And the police and Walmart and everybody else, I think we're just getting so far away from being human beings that it's disturbing.
I mean, it's just the last 20 years. I look back and see how much everything has changed. I mean, maybe it was the advent of the smartphone or something. I don't know, but it seemed life was a lot less complicated before the smartphones.
I think there's a good point to that, or a good argument to say that I think the smartphone has made humans dumber from the humanity side of things.
Yeah, they've made them less human and more robots.
That's it. Because we no longer interface. Walmart.
Yeah, there will be people kids will be sitting in the same room, sometimes on the same couch, and they're communicating with each other by texting. They're not even talking.
I did that in front of one of my sisters so she wouldn't know I was talking about her. I did that with my daughter once. Because Dad, I'm sitting right next to you, and my sister she thought something, but I'm like,
Well,
man, you know,
and it was kind of funny today. I went into a store to return something, and they only had a couple workers anyway, not a Walmart, but just a store. And there was a young girl there who looked like a deer in the headlights. And I thought this, and apparently she was new, which is fine. I went up and I said, and she never spoke to me. When I walked in and I said, do you work here? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, well, can you help me? And she's like, no, I'm in training. And I'm thinking, okay, well, have a big person's voice and, but whatever. But I started immediately thinking, I bet you if I texted you, you could help me.
yeah.
I know it's difficult talking face to face to a human being, but can I get my phone out and tell you what my problem is? And you could probably help me. So,
Yeah, I forgot that I had got rid of my car. I was going to go to Walmart and buy some more that product. George, they make all kinds of items. Cargo
yeah.
thin cargo shorts, so they're nice and comfortable. And I thought, wow, shit, man, I don't have a car no more. So,
Hey, dude, get one of the Camaros out, drive it.
I ain't
Joe's
gonna
in the house. Everybody say hello to Joe. Joe, we appreciate you.
Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Joe in the house. We're talking about you, Joe. That's what we're doing, man. We're talking
That's
about you.
David Benedict Arnold.
But Walmart is the clean example of the prime example of this. They no longer have workers checking you out, so therefore there's no longer that human connection. And yet they're bitching about how much money they're losing, even though
I told a lady leaving there once. I said, this sucks. I feel like you treat me like a thief after I got done paying for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then the way you look at me, you look in the bag, you don't even look.
Just tell her, excuse me, this is my property. I just paid for it.
I went into well, they had a guy on I forget what video was on YouTube. The guy had his receipt and all that. He's walking out, and they wanted him to come back in the store. He said, "I already own this stuff."
Yeah. I've seen a lawyer that said, now that doesn't hold true of places like Costco or Sam's Club because you've signed an agreement.
That's right.
You have a membership, so they have rules as a member. But Walmart, it's just a public, open to everybody. So that's not the same as Costco or Sam's, something like that.
I used to go in this one over in another town I lived in, and I spent a lot of money in there, and I was in there all kinds of different hours, and it was open 24/7 before COVID. And every time I went back to the movie, I always checked out the movie bed, DVDs, Blu-ray. And there'd always be the same lady that would, watch me all the time. And I never did go over. I felt like going over and saying, well, why don't you help me pick some movies out then you can put your mind at ease, I remember that made me feel like it did when I was a kid and I stole something, from
you still feel guilty. It doesn't bother me. I just stare out in the eyeball and
no. I even though I got the receipt and all of this shit, I feel better if they look at it,
She's probably staring in it in amazement that there's still an old guy that actually buys movies.
Joe buys movies. Joe
actually,
Jenny's Journey is a movie hall.
Actually, her eyes never left between my knees and waist.
But no,
you have that effect on.
Yeah, I know it's a burden I have to bear.
As much as the problem is, I actually really like, to believe it or not, the way things are in the Philippines when it comes to security at the doors of the malls and places. Instead of having these crazy ass cops with guns and armored trucks everywhere, I like the fact that, you have enough security guards who are at the doors everywhere. They're well dressed, and they use their little sticks to look at backpacks and things. And I actually have no problem with that concept.
And when you leave some of the stores over like Pure Gold and Butuan is a grocery store only, and when you leave, you got to show the guy your receipt.
Right.
the guy at the door.
And
You
they
know,
got places where you pigeonhole your groceries if you want to go to another store.
yeah,
Yeah, you know,
yeah,
and check it and stuff. But I
yeah.
think the fact that they have security guards, but they're nice security guards. You know what I mean? Our American security,
Polite.
yeah, they're right, polite. There you go. In America, the security guards are wannabe cops and they can't get real jobs. So what else do? You become a security guard. Sorry, Joe. Picking on Joe, to be honest. Joe used to be in law.
Don't do that, man. Don't do.
I'm just picking on poor Joe.
Don't do
But
that, dude.
law enforcement versus being a security guard, I like what the Philippines is because they seem to be helpful. And that's what we should strive for with our
You
security,
know why?
law enforcement in America, to be helpful,
They
not to be tyrant.
they're helpful because it's a long, boring freaking day if you're standing there all day long. I've done that job before, and I was in a bank, and I'm like, I went downstairs. Lady goes, "Well, I think you're supposed to be upstairs." I'm thinking 10 hours standing on my knees are killing me,
Oh, it's
man.
horrible.
Oh my god. But I would have loved, hey, I'll go open the door, and I'll get to move around, interact a little bit, and then you get this kind of think
I
with
think
some.
it's a thankless job,
There it is.
being a security guard and a police officer. But I think there's two different huge things. I think,
Well,
you, you got to have the right temperament and the right
Right.
mindset. And I just like what the Philippines do. I like how they do it. I don't have a problem with it.
I was a rent-a-cop there for a little while, and it had its perks for me, if you know what I mean.
We don't need to hear your dirty stories.
Oh my goodness, stories I can tell you.
Girls.
Yeah, I know it's a PG audience, but man, oh man, it worked out for me a couple times.
So it's an interesting concept. I just, and I'm picking on Walmart a little bit today because I was thinking about it. And I saw some more news about how they're losing so much money. And I'm just like,
Then shut down. Then I mean, I'm like, if it's that much of a like these
Then
gas station,
apprehend the offenders.
these
That's
gas
all you got to
station,
do.
these gas,
Apprehend the people who are causing you problems. But they don't want to do that.
right. Just put the
You
check.
penalize everybody for a few,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I think the solution is just hire the employees back, and let them work. Joe's going to come in the house. Joe's going to beat me up here because I was making fun of security people. Joe, don't kill me too much. Go ahead,
Don't
Joe.
worry, don't worry, Dave. I won't kill you. I'll just shoot you a couple times.
How are you tonight, my friend?
Not too bad. Trying to stay dry.
Oh, I know. It should dry up tomorrow, I think, right?
Nope.
No? Bummer. But we're talking a little bit about picking on Walmart. I am a little bit about how they do things. But I think problems can be solved if they would just hire the workers back.
Yeah, and get away with maybe have one or two lanes that are self-check.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of people want to do.
Yeah.
But bring back the employees because I miss that one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
But when they have 18 lanes and they have 3 of them open for checkout, it doesn't work too well, does it?
God, no.
That's when they have all them self-checks opened. And them self-checks, they're not even worth the time to go there.
Well, a few years ago, we were down in Alabama, Gulf Shores, Alabama, on vacation a few years ago. And we went to go get bait to go fishing with. And I was shocked that the Walmart that was in Gulf Shores, Alabama was so freaking packed that they had just one person on register down here and one person down here.
Had beer on sale.
Nothing but electric, the self-checkout registers. But it was taking people 30 and 40 minutes to get through the line. So part of what I thought about back then is because, what you want to do is serve your customers fast. The sooner you get them through the line, I would think a person could get you through the line faster than me doing it, going, okay, shit, where's the barcode? versus somebody who knows what they're doing and get us bagged and out of there. So I thought it was kind of a waste of it, very inefficient.
Well, the way I feel, Dave, is sometimes it is very inefficient having everybody self-check themselves, because when they self-check themselves, who's watching the cart? You don't have an employee to watch the cart.
Well, they have the yellow vest people that are supposed to be doing that, but there's too many people going through the registers for them to keep an eye on everything. But that's what the yellow vest guy's supposed to do.
Oh, I understand that, but
Yeah,
where's
he's-
the? I'm a retired security officer, and now I would never want to be working inside a Walmart. Used to be years ago, yeah, I would love to work in the Walmart, but not now.
Where do you think the best place as a security officer to work in America would be? Besides the Playboy Mansion?
Any place that has its own security. Boeing, any of the breweries
Amazon.
that have their Amazon, UPS.
How about you, Yank? Where do you think, Kiko, where do you guys think the best place to be a security officer in America would be?
Either in
Where?
a government office, a military office, federal government, one of the alphabet agencies in DC or Virginia, where most people coming into work have high security clearances, and they're probably not going to cause you any stink anyways. All they're going to do is maybe have you take your nail clippers out of your pocket that you forgot going through the metal detector.
I think if I had my choice, and well, I'm trying to, so I don't get in trouble here. I think the best place to be the security guy would be a very, very popular beach pier on the ocean.
My God.
What, Yank? Come on, that would be good.
No, you have people still
Calling you rent a cop and
using substances that are not thinking clearly and doing foolish things.
Yeah.
I didn't say I was going to actively be a security guard. I just said that's where you would want to be one.
Nah.
And or maybe like Disney World where you never see them. When you go to Disney World, you never see the security people. They're always in the background kind of lurking.
They're wearing dopey.
The Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Dopey and sleepy and grumpy and all them guys.
Doofus.
Doofus,
one thing
that was number 8. That wasn't the 7th dwarf.
Go ahead, Joe.
One thing I feel about the Disney World doing security work, yeah, that'd be fun, but they're actually walking around in plain sight. They're non-uniformed.
Right.
They don't have their ID in plain sight.
Those Secret Service mics on your lapel,
Yeah.
That's what the Mickey Mouse ears are. They can hear everything.
Talking at her wrist.
Yeah.
Get smart.
The same thing on a cruise ship. You never know who the security is on a cruise ship. You never see them, but they're there. But you never see them. But if something happens, man, they're there. But we hardly ever see anybody on a cruise ship that.
Well, does Walmart have plainclothes people walking through the store?
If
not, why not?
Actually,
too cheap.
Well, not just that, Dave, but there are what they call secret shoppers.
Yeah, used to be.
No, even still now, that are employees of Walmart.
Yeah.
You can spot them out.
Loss prevention people. Yeah.
I would do that, but it'd have to be like Victoria's Secret store.
I like messing with.
Now you're thinking.
I like messing
See?
with those guys because I know them guys a mile away, man. I like messing with them. I'll quit. I'll go do something so they, you know. Oh,
So
come on,
you
man. Come on,
agitate.
you're an 18-year-old kid and and you're pushing a cart with a bunch of women's products in there and you're a male.
The problem is you still got a 16-year-old mind.
You know? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get
Look
out
what
of
see
that
what I can get away with.
25, you know?
That's my point. We're all too big of goofballs to. I'd be okay if I get to drive around like in a golf cart all day and hot rod and goof off. That would be fun as a security guard. I could do that.
You mean a golf course?
Not like at the mall, man. I wouldn't want to drive in the mall or the airport or somewhere.
I'd like to drive a golf cart in the airport, just helping people that want to ride instead of walk. I mean, someone who has a legitimate physical issue where they need a ride. I
You
would
can
do
do
that.
that. They hire those people.
Yeah, but you're working for a quote contractor of the
That's
airport,
correct.
or the airport. So
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, well, you wouldn't want to do this because it's too much labor. But on the cruise ship ports, they have the little guys that come and get you on a bicycle.
Little,
Like the bikes in the Philippines. Kind
little
of,
guys?
they pedal down and you give them a few bucks and they take you off the cruise ship all the way up onto the landing. You know, that's
too much pedaling,
it's a lot of work.
and it's probably someplace where it's too hot to pedal.
Yeah, yeah. All tropical ports have these little bicycle guys who will drag your butt up, so you don't got to walk the quarter mile to the landing.
I'd like to drive a shuttle from the airport to the hotel, like a designated hotel,
A cycle,
same route,
yeah,
all that, and not a bus, a classy like a Mercedes or something. People come in high class hotel, right? They want it picked up, take shuttle directly to the hotel.
You look.
I would do that if it's the
You look
same route
like
like Tony. If I can
you look.
memorize the route,
You'd look like that driver in Back to School with Rodney
I'd even
Dangerfield.
wear the little hat and everything, that you need. I'd even dress up for it.
Get up there and crush a napkin holder with your hand.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah. Wasn't he the guy in Rocky also?
Yeah, yeah. My friend's brother couldn't stand Burgess Meredith, man. It just irked him, you know. We'd be out having a good time, all of a sudden he'd bring it up. He hated that. And he goes, I thought that guy was dead and he's still living.
That's what amazes me with Tony. He can remember minute details of movies.
But he can't
Yeah.
remember.
He can't remember what he just said 3 seconds ago.
I can't.
The conversation goes on, and then he's like, "What was I talking about?" But
No,
then he
No,
could tell you 50 different movies and characters and what they
that's
did.
I said short term is the issue here.
There you go.
I think one of the good jobs for old people is to be a
Listen,
car transporter, to drive cars back and forth from dealerships and things.
what if
Right.
you have to, what if you have to
Yeah,
state
I would
your
do that.
license away from you?
Especially if it was like a Ferrari dealership
There you go.
or Lamborghini.
Hey,
I wouldn't fit in one of those.
I worked at a Chevy dealer.
Yeah, in our age, it'd be too hard to get in and out of.
Yeah. Mm. So those might be kind of fun jobs.
Actually, that's not a fun job.
My dad did that.
I don't know. My grandfather, when he retired, he drove for a local company called Car Mart, a used car place. Buy here,
Yeah.
pay here thing.
Conmart?
Car, it's
Carmark.
yeah. And
Way
he,
back in the day, my ex-father-in-law, he was employed for an airline, so he flew for free. So
nice.
he got a side job taking rental cars back to like their destination.
Yeah.
So because he could fly for free, so he'd drive the car back 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever it was, and then he'd get a free flight back home. So he made the money, whatever they paid him, to drive the car. I could do that.
I
I
know.
wouldn't, because my wife always said, because I used to drive out to Oklahoma to see my older kids, and bring them back and stuff. And my wife said, "Oh, you like to drive?" I said, "No, it's a necessity." She said, "You should be like a truck driver." I said, "No, I couldn't do this all the time."
No, I could,
You
yeah.
know,
I'm with you there. I don't know.
2 or 3
One
hours,
thing I
yeah,
know,
that's good. But go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
one thing I know about them shuttle drivers that drive from the dealerships to the auction, every one of them would say how much they hated the job.
You got everybody bitches about whatever they do. There's
I do.
always,
I bitch about everything every day.
always
I don't
something.
do anything.
You do anything long enough, you're every day.
Hell, I bitched about my raisins earlier.
You know, I was in the factory 15 years ago. Man, I wish I did something else. Then I did something
Tony,
else.
that's like all your beautiful women, Tony. You know, somewhere somebody's tired of that. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, well,
you name it. So,
that.
So beautiful women can be a troublemakers. Trust me.
oh, absolutely.
Trust me. We all know this.
Yeah, it's
Beautiful what?
something someone should have told me when I was about 16.
The prettier they are, the harder, the more trouble they are. Is that what they told you?
No, you should have told me.
Well, like they used to say, the prettier it is, the harder it falls.
Man,
Yeah.
The
that's
harder you
bigger
fall.
you are, the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
Yeah, maybe it's the prettier they are, the harder you fall. You know, woo-hoo, look at that pretty girl. You know, but I don't know. It's just kooky. But yeah, I seem to bitch a lot. I guess I bitch about everything. You know, except for my job. I hated the people that I worked with, but I really liked the work.
See, people ask, you know, well, you're retired. Do you miss working? I said, no, not really. I said, I miss some of the people I worked with. I miss the good times and conversation we had
Yeah.
and the fun we had. But do I miss getting up at 4:30 every morning? No.
I miss work, and I don't really miss most of the people. I miss a lot of the things that we did, like you said. But I had enough of the people, the individuals, the drama of them. But I miss the activities that I did and things I got to do, and the way that work makes you feel. Because if you have a job, you feel good. You can feel good about what you're being productive. At least I did. I felt like I was being a productive member of society somewhat.
No.
Well, I had many
Yeah,
occasions where I was the only person that did my job within like 200 miles. So,
Wow.
so yeah, it felt, but I didn't use that. I didn't let my pride eat into it. I was like, okay, this is what I get paid to do.
Mhm.
People are depending on you. They say it's a high stress job, but it's like a fireman. Your job's stressful when you're putting out a fire, but there can be some downtime too. Sitting around the firehouse, right, waiting
Yep.
for something to happen. So it's kind of like that. That's what I always equated it to. But when you are the expert to go to, and you fix, and people call you to do it,
It's good.
because I like, well, why didn't you inquire about someone else? Well, because they never fixed it for me. Okay, so, but yeah, I miss that, doing stuff, getting stuff done that people didn't think could get done as
Yeah.
soon or as efficiently or whatever,
Yeah.
And I even had coworkers who like, how did you know that? I'm like, that's our job, man. What do you mean? Hit the books a little more, troubleshoot a little more,
Yeah. It's my job to know these things.
It's like,
Why-
wait, you're making 25 grand more a year for doing the same job as me, and you don't know how I did this. Something's wrong here.
So I don't know. If I was healthy again, I would go back into work. But I know that's never going to happen. But I don't
I'm
know.
healthy. I just don't want to get, back in a routine, a commitment, like
Yeah.
even if it's just 3 days a week, having to be there at whatever 7 in the morning, 8 in the
Oh, I
morning,
know.
whatever the hours are, If something would come up like chauffeur, hey, chauffeur me somewhere, okay.
Well, you could be
I
an
don't want to
Uber
be
driver.
I don't want to be an Uber driver. I know you can basically name your hours, right? Because
Yes.
you're pretty much self-employed, right?
Yeah. When you're on the clock, you're on the clock. When you're not, you're not. Yeah.
And I've learned from my kids that who are much more up on Uber than I am that there's different classes of Uber too. Like you have a van or you
Yeah.
have an SUV, so
That's
you
right.
can haul a certain amount of people
That's it.
or a certain style of car. If you say you have a Mercedes or something, a
Yeah.
high class vehicle that
That's
someone
right.
might want to use. So yeah, I
You
guess you
use,
can
you use Tony's
specialize,
Camaro.
diversify, whatever, right?
You know.
I know they went. I think they went to Tampa. Well, my son did a college, exploring the college there. And they took an Uber, and it cost $50. I was like,
Ouch.
"What? From the airport to a college?" You're like, it couldn't be more than 10 miles, 5 miles.
Ouch.
I said $50, and kids. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's what it costs." I'm
Wow.
like, "Look, you know how much a gallon of gas costs? Do the math here. You have a car, say it gets 25, 30 miles per gallon,
Convenience,
right?
man.
He just drove you 5 miles and got $50 for that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's because there was three of them. Okay,
Yeah. Times three.
Well,
maybe I don't know,
these
but
youngins,
they're all going to the same place. Why does it cost $50 for
it,
three people?
a lot of these
Huh?
people are starting to go back to taxis because when I was at work and I said sold my cars, I was taking a ride home, and after 1 p.m. it got 1 a.m. got real expensive. Well, that cab, no matter what time, it was $9 a period. But if it
Yeah,
were Uber and they call it the busy time,
You're
then it
right.
would be $18. So.
right. Peak hours or whatever they call
And
it
a lot
there.
of these youngins, yeah, a lot of these youngins, they like Uber. That's all they know.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, look at the facts are after midnight, you're going to deal with a lot more different people than you are, you know,
I thought, fuck,
Yeah.
normal business hours of the day. You're going to get drunks and all this
forget
stuff,
that.
belligerent people. So they want to get a little more compensated for that time frame. Than,
Hey, I called up
but
the dispatcher at a taxi company, and I said, uh, in the recording, she's in the recording before that, we have no. No, she wasn't a recording. She said all the taxis were out. Uh, can I help you? I said, what a freaking cab company, man. Why even answer the phone? If all your cabs are gone, what else can you do for me?
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just here to tell you there's no cabs
And then,
available.
and then they hang up on you. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
Well, there are definitely times when, because we're planning a vacation or working on, we're in the rough stages of one where there's a couple things going on. One, next week I have a video about a gentleman who's going through the K1 visa process right now. I'm going to start advertising that. So that's what we're doing next week a little bit. But we're also planning a fishing trip. If any guys want to join us, let me know. We're all going to get maybe a fishing trip to Texas or
To
Louisiana
where?
or Mississippi.
Well, Louisiana would be
Texas,
nice. Oh,
Texas,
man.
Mississippi, or Louisiana
Lu-
is where we're kind of looking at doing
Lu-
a fishing trip.
Louisiana
No
would be
women
good.
allowed.
You
Yeah, we've been
talking
there.
like you talking like inland lakes like Shreveport and Baton Rouge?
No, maybe like Venice or Bay St. Louis. We're talking about deep
Oh,
sea
that
and
sounds cool.
fishing.
Yeah, man. That
Yeah.
sounds real cool.
So I'm
Hey,
working on that.
David,
I got a couple of guys. Yeah.
why don't you?
Bay St. Louis, Mississippi.
Yeah, Mississippi. Yeah, Bay St. Louis. Yeah,
Been there, done that. I was down
that
at Biloxi for a long
that's
time in my Air Force training.
that's in
Ah,
the Hurricane Alley there.
how did you like it, Kiko?
It was hot.
You know, man.
All I remember is hot and humid. I got there, I think,
Yeah,
May, and I left in December. So
just
I spent most of the hottest months of the year there.
this guy I knew who
And
lived in Houston from up here, and he said as soon as he got out of the shower and got dressed, went outside, he was sweating already.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
But David, we should well, something to keep you obviously busy is if you ran that K1 visa system, a rapid visa like that.
Hey, James, how are you, my friend?
You could
Well,
process.
to be honest, I don't want to have a business. You
Why not?
know, I am more of a teacher, maybe not a businessman.
Well,
So we have helped a lot of people with K-1 visas and other visas over the years. And it's more of just, could I do a business? Sure. But I guess the way I look at it, to be honest, you don't need somebody like me to teach you how to do. You don't need somebody to
no,
do K-1
I
visa with you.
I
You can do
don't.
it
I
yourself.
don't. I don't. But there are people out there that do.
No. You don't understand what I mean. People in general doesn't need somebody to do it all for them. They just need to know how to do it. Hey, Timmy.
You're talking to a whole different spectrum of people, man. I'm talking about
Well,
these folks. I'm talking about these guys that have little clue about anything. You know that
but if they don't have a clue about anything, they shouldn't be
well,
trying
it,
to,
it
you
to
know,
to them it's pretty involved to process all this stuff. So
right. But it's not.
so
Well, they got to do,
well,
Tony. If they can
may-
talk, ask Siri.
maybe not to you, but there's a business there.
You got
There's
to say
always
hi to Timmy. Everybody say hi to Timmy.
hi Timmy.
Hi, Tim.
Well, I know there's a business there. I do that. And I know that. I know there's a business there. But partly what says is where I'm at in my mind also. I don't want to be obligated to anything or anybody. I'm old, I'm retired, my health isn't great. I could go and teach online. I could do all these other things, consulting work still, but I would have to be committed to doing that. So if I took you on as a client, I would feel obligated to hold your hand and answer your phone calls and your messages on a regular basis in a timely manner to help you through this. What
Just
I would rather do is consult with you, teach you what I know. And then if you want to hire a Rapid Visa, which does a great
hey,
job, who can do it better than me and faster than me, I think you
hey,
should.
hey, it's okay if you hold my hand, but that's all you're holding, okay?
David, what's Rapid Visa about? What is it?
It's a company that processes
Rap-
K-1 visas.
Rapid Visa is basically
I was thinking Visa credit cards. Okay, yeah.
No,
no.
Now, if I did something, I think I would like to teach English
hey
online.
Timmy.
You know,
And you should. You can
but
teach.
but it would have to be, like you said, at your convenience. Like,
Well,
when I set up a time saying, okay, I'm available this 1 or 2 hours,
But
boom,
you can
because
do
they
that.
could be anywhere in the world.
But Kiko, you can do that. You can actually do that. The requirements are if you don't have a bachelor's degree, is there's a you go online and say how do I teach English overseas like to the Chinese or Japanese. There's a class you take if you don't have a bachelor's. If you got a bachelor's, you're good. If you don't, you take it, you pass it, you pay the fees, and you can do that, and you can do it on your own time as many hours you want. Now, keep in mind you got to have good internet, and you got to be able to do it at night because of the time difference. But you can do that just part time a little bit. I know
But I
people.
mean, not working for somebody else. Like, what's that, Cambly or whatever? That's one of them,
Yeah,
right? I'm not saying work for a company. I'm just saying
no,
for
you're right.
connections, just do it person to person.
Right, I
You know,
understand. Tutoring.
tutoring basically. Yes.
Yeah. Let's say hi to Mr. Reborn. Timmy, good evening,
Hello.
DJ3, Kumastapo. But I don't know. For me, I would rather teach than do, I guess. I don't want to do your paperwork for you. I want to
Yeah,
encourage
like the
you,
old saying: "Those who can do, those who can't teach."
right? And I can't, so I teach.
Right.
But I get joy and pleasure when the light bulb goes off in your head and you go, oh, I get it. I can do this myself. I don't need to pay Rapid Visa $400 to do it, which Rapid
When
Visa
I
great.
saw this video, this guy, he's 71 and she's 19, and the guy is interviewing him, And this 71-year-old said, "Yeah, I paid $4,000 to a Visa, like fixer, right?"
Right.
And I'm thinking, you idiot! I did it all myself. All it is filling out government forms, and it takes time. But I guess the guy has more dollars than cents, right? So
Yeah.
he had $4 grand to throw away at doing something he could have easily done himself for free, you know,
Yeah.
just taking his own time. But I guess he
Well,
was in a hurry or whatever.
and then
It doesn't
Anthony,
matter because it's going to take the same amount of time whether
Some
somebody
people
does
would
it
rather
for
have
you or
somebody
not.
else do it. They don't want to be bothered with certain things.
Right,
well,
right.
and Anthony, that's part of where I go. I don't want to be held responsible if you've given me bad information when I
Sure.
submit paperwork.
You're a responsible person, though. That's why I say what I say.
I know, but what I'm saying is if I'm working with a client
Hmm.
and they're not truthful and upfront about everything that I got to help them submit, and it's going, and if I'm being the guy, the agent, well, that looks bad upon me.
And you get all through this, and then they come back and they're like, "Wait a minute,
It's
you
your
said
fault.
you'd have a clean,
Yeah, no,
thorough
that,
background
but
check. Why
there,
didn't you tell me this stuff?"
there are rules to all of that too. It isn't like you're like a wild west where you can get on there and go, "Hey, I'll process that for you," take their money and then leave.
No, but that's where that whole being responsible comes in. I don't want to be that responsible. I don't have I can't count on my brain not to screw up. I can't
Why
trust that my brain damage won't.
That's the main thing I don't miss is the responsibility.
Yes.
And that was hard to get used to at first because I had so much on my plate. And then when you hand all your stuff in,
Jeez.
you hand your computer in, your iPhone, your keys, your ID badges, and you're done.
Right.
And like, nope, they don't call you anymore. You're not on 24 hours a day call.
Yes.
And so that's kind of hard to adapt to at first because you keep thinking, well, geez, I got to. But you got to realize, no, you don't got to anything anymore, right?
Right.
No, what I just
So
did tell people.
but once you get a taste of that in retirement, it's hard to ever get back to like what you said,
Yes.
wanting to commit to a certain schedule or
Yeah.
responsibility or something like that.
We will help anybody. I mean, if you want to pay me, you can become a member of our YouTube channel, and I will help you until the eyes are blue. I don't really give a crap, but I just don't want to be too super responsible because I'm old and decrepit. So,
Old and decrepit.
Tell Outdoor, how are you, my friend?
You're the youngest guy here, man.
So Jason Tell, how are you? Everybody say hello to Jason Tell. We appreciate you being here.
Listen
So,
to
CTO.
But I've been I got a friend who's going through the K1 visa process right now, literally. And so I interviewed him the other night. So I'm going to upload his video on the next live stream, and we'll
I
talk.
wonder how much different or the same it is than 21 years ago when
you got theme music, Hell's Bells by AC/DC for that.
Oh no, that'd be copyrighted. So we're going to do that, but it's definitely.
I don't know what the time frame is now, David, but when I did it, it took approximately, it was under 6 months from the time I initiated. Okay, I did like Tony's leave in what, April 4th, Tony?
Yeah.
That's
2
what
years.
I did. I went over from 4th to 14th of April, 10 days. As soon as I got home, I initiated the K1 visa process. That was mid-April. My wife was here at the end of September.
Mine
So
had to remind.
That was less than 6 months from when
Mine
I
was
initiated.
almost 2 years, a year and a half.
And I did it all myself. Of course, I paid whatever the fees were.
Well,
But
you know,
I didn't have the money to give someone else to do it.
You know
for me
this
anyway,
shut-
so
oh my God! Oh, I just saw this funny commercial, man. This old lady, big lady, was sitting on the couch and she opened something and just sprayed it all over.
what'd she open?
But anyway, that
Was it a drink? Was it a champagne
I
bottle? What are you talking
really wasn't. It looked like a milkshake, man. It just shit was all over.
How did you remember a commercial you just saw?
It was just on.
30 seconds ago.
It was just, what struck me is that the movie Everybody Loves Raymond, where they're spray painting the house yellow, and the mom opens the door. And,
There he goes. He can remember every scene from a
oh,
movie.
Yeah.
I can't
Pre-COVID,
do that.
yeah, pre-COVID, it was
I
6
Crovid.
I had this shitty Philippine lawyer, this friend of mine hooked me up with, and I said, yeah, well, I didn't know nothing about that stuff, so I said I go to him. He hands me all these forms, man. I'm like, what the fuck do you fill about?
Yeah, good help.
What the hell is this shit? Then he never did. He effed up because my wife should have been here. It was like a year, almost.
How much did you pay him?
I forget, but she should have been here. He had to change the address and didn't file it. So then I took that back. I told his wife was a receptionist. I said, "What's this going to put me back a couple of weeks?" She goes, "No, more like 6 months." Because they put you at the bottom of the pile. They put you at the bottom of the pile. And this guy changed his email, all of this stuff.
Well, you know,
Tony,
right now,
the whole process took me under 6 months. Tony.
yeah, now it's still backlogged, so it's taken anywhere from a year and a half to 2 years. You know, the good thing for me, to be honest, is Lorelai did all of our paperwork.
Are you saying a K1 takes a year and a half to 2 years?
She had the incentive.
Wow.
I get in line. They got such a huge backlog from the COVID era that it's just slow as snail snot.
And I know my wife was right up. She was in Manila going to one of the final stages, going to St. Luke's Hospital for your physical, right? And all that. And your interview, and they show you a movie about horror stories of
2 different visits.
females who have come over here and been mistreated.
Yeah.
But she was right at that stage when 9/11/2001 hit.
Yeah.
And they closed the embassies down around the world, a lot of places. And I thought, oh no, how long is this going to set it back? But she got here the 29th of September. So that was 18 days after that.
Mine had to remind me like a month later. I just was like,
Well, yeah, ours went really smooth. Lorelai handled all the paperwork.
No, she had a motivation to finish it.
She's just smarter than I am, and she's really good at details. You know, me, I'm more of a broad stroke guy.
I don't know. That's a pretty high bridge to cross there, David.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
She really is.
Hey, she's
Well, I almost screwed up when I flew over there because I got the times wrong, and she had to remind me.
She's not home, is she? Listening to us right now?
Of course, she's home listening to us.
Oh my God! Well, last week she thought I was causing trouble on YouTube, man.
You are.
Nah, bullshit.
Not on YouTube, but on our live stream.
StreamYard.
She doesn't understand humor.
You know, no, she's just busting your balls. Trust me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's just busting your balls.
Just don't squeeze them. Just caress them. Right.
No, she's busted.
Yeah.
But I got the times mixed up and almost missed my flight if it wasn't for Lorelai reminding me when my plane ticket was to go there.
You just bought another one.
I'm just I'm a broad stroke type of guy, you know. I'm a big picture. Lorelai's very, very good with detail.
You like stroking, right?
I told you when I went over very first time, it was way before FaceTiming and all this. We didn't talk to each other on the internet. It was sending emails, and it was like snail mail, because we would send maybe 2 emails a week, because it would take me sending one and then her having to go to an internet cafe and there not being a brownout, so she could read the email and then she'd respond if there was power. So then I would get the email, right? So it was actually more like snail mail is nowadays. But so she never saw me. I never saw her. I saw a picture of her, right? I got there, but the last email I read right before I was leaving for the airport, she said, "Oh, you don't mind if 5 of my cousins come with me to the airport?" And I'm thinking, oh, this is a setup. I'm going to get jumped. She's going to have 5 male cousins, you know, and I'm going to get in a taxi and everything I have with me is being robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, they were all female cousins, or second
That's a-
cousins and
That's a
whatever.
full
Yeah.
plate there,
They
man.
all wanted to come see the foreigner, right?
Yeah, so,
Like
so
the
my buddy
freak
discussed
show.
the hardship that he's been going through with his now and the complications that they've had. So it should be a really good video.
My wife had to go down there. She had to go down to Manila twice, once for the biometrics and the other one for the interview.
Right.
But she had overheard this, in another booth over or whatever. This lady was getting interviewed, and apparently that the guy she was marrying already been married 4 times.
Yeah.
So the guy said, sorry, dear, that's too much. We can't okay that. So
Oh,
Yeah,
so she
no,
didn't get to come?
what's that?
She didn't get to come?
No, they wouldn't, because of the dude had a real bad track record.
4 bad marriages already.
And they looked at the length of time and who, what nationality or whatever. So there might have been what they're thinking is they're doing this as a scam, So.
Yeah. Well, part of it is they want to make sure that the dude and the girl both knows the honest truth about each other. So it's kind of like what I
It
talk about.
really does. Man.
Video.
Tony, you never know, Tony. Maybe the 5th time's a charm.
Yeah.
Or the 20th.
4 times for me, forget it. I'm stopping at 3.
This time it's for real.
I'm tired of giving my shit away.
Well, you do it every day.
You ran out of it to give away, right?
Yeah. Well, I've been pretty lucky both times. My first divorce cost me
your son's going to get married next year,
Hey,
right?
Hey, my
One
first divorce
One
cost
guy said about getting married, he said just find a woman that hates you and buy her a house and give her half your income.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
he said
why get married?
I told him not to. I told him years ago. I said, "Don't ever get married." He goes, "But I want to have kids." I said, "You don't have to be married to have kids."
I don't have kids. They cost too much money.
I'm telling you. I said, and if you do it now that he's doing it next year, I said, don't ever do it. Don't do it anymore.
Well, that's another thing that keeps me not really retired is that I still have 2 high schoolers at home.
So that keeps you busy there.
That
You
still
more
keeps,
than scratch your belly, drink beer, and fart all day.
So now it's like, oh, Dad, I need money for this, need money for that.
Yeah.
Get a
Yeah.
job. Hey,
Yeah.
next time you stop in the hardware store, say hi to my relatives.
I'm trying to convince them, look, you can't have Porsche taste and a Plymouth
Yeah.
budget,
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Life doesn't work out like that.
No.
No.
We got to be. That's one thing as old people learn. So anybody young out there, understand that us old people are wise because we've learned, that it's not all about the big fancy houses and cars and all the
But
women.
it took us a while. We were young too and foolish.
That's
I mean, and the old people in our lives were thrifty.
Man,
They
you
tried
swear
to
to
convince
God,
us to be, and it didn't really work for a while.
this is the
Until
only one.
if you
you'll
work
ever-
long enough to have to make your own money, then you start to realize it.
Well, I was telling my friend the other day, it's about Democrats and Republicans. When you're young, you're a Democrat because you want everybody to give you their shit. When you're old, you're a Republican because you don't want anybody to take your shit. So,
Yeah.
So we learned that we need to keep it and save it and manage it versus living high on that hog. And sometimes maybe the Philippine people have this figured out. The pork belly is the better meat, not the ham shank or whatever that part of the back of the pig is, the back strap.
Yes.
Maybe the belly's better than the back strap. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is, man.
I don't know. Or maybe there's something to that logic. Let's have pork belly. So we're going to have a pork belly business. That's what we're going to do, Tony.
There you go.
But I don't ever want to hear
Like you
kids
answer your
complain.
door with a meat cleaver in your hand all the time.
You know how the young kids, when they just start working, they start complaining because you tell them like, look, how do you get to work? You drive a car, right? Well, that costs money, and because it takes paying for a car, the upkeep of the car, the gas, and the insurance. Okay, that's just to get to work. So
Yeah.
don't complain to me about work. You just have to worry about taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Try paying for 5, 7 kids in your life.
Mm.
See how fun that is.
You know, there is a huge difference right now that goes on because I saw this at the college level. You know, kids would graduate and they'd get a job and they automatically thought that they should be upper management or CEOs.
Yeah,
You
get
know,
this huge home,
yeah,
drive a BMW or Mercedes,
on
and
day
live
one.
large. And they did, but now they're in debt because of it, and they're whining. Plus their college debt. They want that forgiven. They want everything forgiven. All their bad choices they want forgiven.
But when I was young, my grandparents used to teach me, look, you got to work hard, you know, at the bottom, you pay your dues, you work your
Right.
way up. That's how you become successful. Now it's kind of like, well, I'm here. Can I be the CEO?
Well, I
And
just
I
had that
told,
conversation with our daughter working her way through college. She says, "Well, minimum wage job, you can't afford to feed a family." I said, "Minimum wage job wasn't meant to support a family.
Right,
It's a minimum wage job because it's a starting point.
right.
It's to learn how to work.
well,
It's
it's a
to
little
learn
different now. Now people
discipline,
do
and
it.
then work your way up to better paying jobs, right?"
People do it now out of necessity. That's why you can't. That's why all these fast food jobs aren't available for the kids anymore.
Well, you know, I tell people
Oh, there's help wanted signs everywhere, Tony.
there.
Everywhere.
There are,
They're
but
short staffed everywhere.
today the way that, like where I came from was as a I have a pension and that's a rarity now. So what these people do is they use you up and then they cut you loose, you know.
Well,
So
yeah,
it's
Right.
really hard. It's really hard for somebody to vote them their self or body, mind, and soul to something that they know that they're going to get rid of. You know, they're going to get rid of you. And then
So what do? You can't just give up. You got to survive,
never,
right?
I told my son, I said, even if you think you know something, you're going to make my daughter got a promotion already. She has a master's in psychology, and her boss has her doing all her work.
yeah,
And I said, well, she's got you doing it because you're making her look good.
because she
I said,
can.
you don't ever tell somebody working that you're working for everything you know. Because you do it, and you tell everybody around you, it may pass you by. So you don't. You always save some, something in reserve to make you important enough that they keep you.
Well, what I think is interesting is when people don't have a job and they say, well, I don't want that job because it doesn't pay
Oh,
enough.
fuck, I
So
worked.
you'd rather take no money than some money.
Right.
You
I
know,
worked everything, man. I swear to God, I said, God, give me this job. I'll never ask for another thing again. I did this. I did that so many times, as much as I hated dealing with the public, after I was done, it didn't seem like a big price to pay for what I got.
well, it just doesn't make any sense. I need to drink some water. Well, that's not enough water for me to drink, so I'm not going to drink it.
Any at
I
all. Yeah.
I um I told the lady after I went in there and signed my papers and I almost got emotional. I said, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have this place. You know, it sucked. Every minute sucked, but it took me all. It took me out of the 19 years I was there. It took me 16 to get over the fact that I don't care. For me, it was if you didn't have the money, you didn't ride. Nowadays, because it's public funds, they say I just would say somebody come out with their story. I'd point my thumb and go ahead, and not think anything of it.
Yeah. But now you're rich. You know,
Yeah,
you're wealthy beyond
I,
your.
I'm not rich. I got it better than any of my siblings do.
See, that's rich.
I don't have to work the rest of my life. My oldest sister does because I told her, I said, when my dad passed away, we were talking with my cousin, and my sister was a year away from turning 62, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I can't wait. This friend of mine gets this and this." I said, That ain't you. You're not your friend. I'm telling you, you're gonna be short. I said, you find out now, That way, it ain't going to be as hard to take until you go to the end, and then they find out you don't have enough. Then it's going to crush them. Sure enough, it did. I said, whether you like it or not, you're going to work the rest of your life, but the mindset is different because work becomes easier when you don't have to do it all. You know, I mean, she has to do it, but she doesn't have that, like that pressure anymore. But I've always thought since I was 16 years old, man, where I wanted to be when it came to retirement.
You know why you're rich? And I'm going to tell you this in all sincerity. Why you are rich?
I'm not rich.
Listen to me.
No,
It's because you're getting to do what you want to do. That makes you a rich person.
Oh,
You
Money
don't have to work to feed yourself. That makes you wealthier
no, I
than most
don't.
people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The best place to be in the world is to be in a situation where you can do what you want to do. That's where we should all strive to.
And still have money coming in.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I have never lost track of that. I told the human resources lady, I said, all these people you get, they quit because they don't want to do nothing, and maybe they're 30 years old, 25, 30. I said, you do it for not only for today, but for tomorrow. Believe me, all those people that are 25 or 30 years old that want to blow that job off, when any of them has any brain cells, when they get to be 65, they're going to go, I'm going to work till I die now. What if
Yeah.
if I
I should
just
have stayed with that, right?
yeah. So my father did that when he got out of service. He went in. His oldest brother went to Korea. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. But my father was sick, had some kind of illness, and the war was over by the time he got over it. And he got a job in the post office before any of that testing shit. Now they're not testing no more too, because they need him so bad. But he could have retired at 55, and instead he wanted a certain job, mail carrier job. They had him doing sorting or something. He said, "Oh, f that! I'll go to this factory here," which was a nice place to work, but the pension was only $800 a month.
Mhm.
So my mother only gets half of that. So when your Social Security is more than your pension, that means you have a shitty pension. And I said, Dad, if you just stayed at the post office, he goes, yeah, no, don't tell me about that.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020 though. You know that.
Yeah, well, back when he made that determination, you could go anywhere. You could walk 5 minutes. They got this town called West Dallas here. Alice Chalmers was there. All these foundries and stuff. You didn't like my ex father-in-law had a job. He was in the basement of. He
Tractors
worked
there.
for. He
Alice
worked
Chalmers.
for. Yeah, he worked in Racine, in Milwaukee too, or West Dallas, Wisconsin. And he went to work for Briggs and Stratton. He said he was there about an hour, and he goes, "Forget this." He just got up and left to walk down the street, went somewhere else. Hired
Yeah.
him right away. They had 8,000 people employed at one time, and I remember when I was a kid watching I thought the whole world was on first shift. When I knew it, when it was time for that factory to leave, all these cars were coming out of that factory. Society and everybody seemed to be happier because most people worked back then. Nowadays they like to stomp on you like you're a freaking grape. It's
I like
just
grapes. I like
it's
the purple grapes, by the way.
yeah. Yeah, I do too.
But
They're healthier. They're healthier for you too, by the way.
I don't like the green ones. I like the purple ones.
Well, you get the squirts from the green ones. So that's
So if anybody wants to go fishing later in the year, let me know. I'll tell you what we're going to do. And
2 weeks.
you'll be gone. You'll be out of the country living the high life.
What the hell did you invite me for then?
Well, because I'm trying to be a nice guy. Because I know nobody else would invite you.
Yeah. Yeah, he said,
Well,
come
you
on
sold
down.
your Camry now. You can fly back just for the fishing.
Yeah, he's rich. Drive.
Well, David, man, if you mail me a round tripper, man, I'll be down there.
You got like $55,000 for a used car today.
Hey, Tony, you got what, like 17 days? You got 2 more vehicles to sell now. I'd take them back into that same place. You just got a good deal today.
Dude, I've been advised when I build my house that I should build the perimeter wall first. I've seen other ones where they go 2 layers, 2 or 3 up, and courses, and then they put in this barbed wire type fence over it. But I'm doing this. I'm doing it, and I'll say this in the future when I make a video when I'm there. There are some of us that it's for my wife and my son, and not for me, because I've had houses and I could live anywhere. And what I do for them. There are a few people out here, and I'm sure all of us would, but there are a few people out here that think more of themselves than they do their family. And those folks will never have that. Their family will be. Some guys will go, but I got this. My kids will never have to want for nothing. I got all this for the kids. Well, you don't know what's going to happen. You may, greed, death and greed. People die. People get greedy.
Well, that's what we have to remember is we all
Because,
get tomorrow.
because listen, if you give money to an uneducated person in a society where all they know is how to spend and not make, those kids are going to run out of. Those kids have no future
I agree.
because their mother will piss it away.
Well, you know what really I hate to see are these guys that are living in the Philippines and they're either married or they've begun a family, with a woman there, and they never bring them back to the States, so they'll never qualify
Or
for
back to
his
the
Social
West.
Security.
Or
And
back to the
he's
West.
40, 50 years older than she is,
Right.
and he's not going to be around too much longer, and he doesn't have anything really to leave them. Like you said, Tony, if you don't build a house for them, if you don't give them something solid, you
I
know,
I heard.
as a
Yeah.
foundation to build off of,
Well,
they're
I,
leaving them absolutely nothing.
I
but
heard one guy. I had
that's
one
an
guy.
interesting concept. Though. Let me throw this out because, I agree with you. They're not leaving them anything. But let's say that guy lived with them for 10 years. And the income that he did bring in over those 10 years, once he's dead, money's gone. So the devil's advocate is like, is the woman still better off because she had 10 years with them? Because I think about that Mike and the nurse, Mike Carson. He was a YouTuber years ago, and he was
Oh, Mike. That was Mike. Yeah, Mike.
a nice guy, super
Yeah,
YouTuber.
super guy from
But
Texas.
sometimes because his once he's dead, his income was gone from his.
Well, he knew he had an enlarged heart, and people offered him to fly him back here.
He
He
didn't
wouldn't.
want to do that.
He
But
wouldn't do it.
But his woman got all those years with him and his money.
So he had his girlfriend Rose there. I think she was in it for the cash because I think he had 2, one at a time. But he left her holding the bag. She didn't have nothing. She didn't know what to do with his body or nothing.
Right. And that was right.
So there are guys that have. I've heard guys with children go, "Oh, my kids are going to be good-looking kids when they grow up." You know what, man? Maybe you should think about their freaking financial future more than what you think they're going to look like. That don't guarantee you shit.
But I agree with you, Kiko. The fact is part of my goal with Lorelai is, for her to become a U.S. citizen, for her to become a dual citizen, for her to have her own Social Security credits, 10 years, to have her own 401ks and her own stocks that we purchased, her own financial nest egg, and then anything that I have, she owns obviously, but my retirement can go depending on my Social Security depending on when I, do that and her age and all of that, depends on whether she gets it or not.
Sure.
So she needs to have her own nest egg to
Ooh.
stand on, because she may not get my Social Security because of our age issues.
No, it'd be between the two. Who would get the higher? She'd get the higher one.
No, but she still has to be of a certain age.
The 10 quarters though, that's for Part A.
No. Look,
It's 40 quarters.
40, right. So each
That's
individual
10 years.
It's
To
for
get-
Part A.
to get Social Security retirement has to have so many work credits. Now, for a spouse to be eligible, since I'm on disability and I'm on retirement Social Security, she has to be of certain age or it won't kick in and pay her. So just if I die today, my wife doesn't get my money.
Who said this?
She's got to be what, 60, mid 60s?
62. The government
Wow.
website.
Oh yeah. Well, wait a minute. Now I get it. My brother-in-law passed away. My sister was he passed away when he was 48. I said, Julie, go down there and she's like 18 months younger than me. I said, go down to Social Security because you get Kelly's Social Security. What she does, but she can't collect it until she's 60.
So it doesn't do any good unless
well,
you have
I mean-
children.
I'm gonna be 62, so she's going on. She'll be 60 for. She'll be a year younger than me for like 4 months.
Yeah, but we're talking about our wives. So your wife, if you kill over dead, is not going to get your Social Security money.
Yeah, well, she'll get it at 60 if she's a citizen. But there's even if they're not a citizen, there's all kinds of sneaky shit.
That's
to get.
correct. But it's
But
easy.
my wife will get for certain. She will get my transit pension.
Yeah, she can get your pension, but not your Social Security. So there's a lot
Well,
of
if there's children, their children will get money.
yes.
And
If he's
your
going-
spouse taking care of the children.
If
Yeah,
he's
she
going to
gets money.
school, if he's going to college, he can get it up to 24 years old. But
I don't know about that, Tony. I think
Yeah, it
it's
is.
18.
it is. I just look. I know it. I know. I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't know it.
Yeah.
There's a stipulation in there if they're in school.
I know health care is they can stay on your plan until they're 26 now.
That's
But-
correct.
But I didn't know about Social Security.
But we had a driver at work. His wife was an illegal. She Mexican. She was here illegally, but he was a Mexican American. She was here illegally. And when he retired, he said, "Can my wife get Social Security?" He didn't tell her she was here undocumented. And he said if she's not a citizen, she can't. But I have since heard and read, not like a studying for overtime or homework, but there's circumstances where even if you're not a citizen, you're a spouse of somebody drawing Social Security, where you could get it. So, but it would have to. My second wife here would have to do the quarterbacking on that. I already asked her about that years ago. I asked her if she would help out
Yeah, there's certain criteria that would allow a non-citizen, which they have to be in legal standing, is what it has to be. So Lorelei didn't have to be a citizen, obviously, but it makes it easier if they are. So I agree with
Oh, sure. Yes. That's exactly right.
If they're a green card holder,
Dude,
they're fine.
you know what the problem with the internet is when you look up certain things, and I was like, well, if you're collecting such and such, it never dates the information that you're reading. So on the column above, what you don't want to hear, and then below it is what you want to hear. So which one is it? Nothing that's nothing expires.
Well, and part of what I do is I go with the government websites and then I call them and ask questions. I can't really do that in the Philippine government, but when it comes to the United States government, that's how I manage that. I call and I ask multiple people.
I haven't. I called Chicago on a couple of issues, and I called my local one here when I had questions and about figuring it out. And I have not had a bad. Uh, I haven't had bad information yet. You know what I mean? They're extremely helpful. I've found
Okay.
to date. To date, and I appreciate that. I when I talk to somebody, I'm like, "Hey, thank you for taking my call," and also you could hear it in their tone. Oh, you're welcome. So
Oh
maybe
yeah.
next time I call them and there's something, you know, maybe they're going to go out of their way to see something through for me.
Who's
Yeah.
this you're talking about, Tony?
When I call the Social Security office, I'll call if I have any questions. I'll call my local one, and
Oh,
sometimes I'll call Chicago.
You
yeah. I've
actually
got
had
really
decent
good
customer service?
Oh
yeah.
yeah. That's been my experience thus far. Yeah.
I've had really good luck with customer service through Social Security office. Believe it or
You you cannot be to me, and I'm sure they see it this way too. You cannot be in that line of work in that particular uh, uh, part of the government and not know what the hell you're doing.
well, the key is not to take it personally. That's one thing I used to tell students when you go to work, it's a job. You can't
You
take the crap personal.
well, you can't go. Well, you know what? I think it's this. I'm not sure. And those are kind of answers you don't. You know.
Well, unless it's fallen in love by, I'm not for sure, but let me go ask my supervisor.
Yeah, well, but they never because this stuff is monitored, and and at the end of that call, you can leave your rating of your experience with them,
Right.
because they don't want to see you get hot and bothered leaving, because then that's a problem. Then you know what I mean. Then if you keep doing that to every person, all of a sudden, over a span of time, you might have 100 angry people. They cop an attitude over it. So it's a new thing to deal with. When you start finding out about things like that. But
But I do agree. I think this, and I think this is kind of what Kiko was trying to say earlier, that if you truly care about the person, you will figure out how to set a structure in place for them. The guys who, and I agree with, you know, the guys that go over and just hang out with a woman, have a couple of kids, and don't put anything in place because, who really, it is absolutely the wrong way to go.
They're living on 800 or $1,000 a month, and it's doing them fine, while they're there. But once they're gone,
I was asked.
there's more mouths to feed and no money.
I was asked one time by somebody living there that how much real, now there's a couple people on the live stream, and I said, well, if you're solo, maybe $1,500 to cover yourself pretty good. But if you have a wife and a couple kids, it's probably 2,500 or better. And he was all depressed about it. And this one guy chimed in and said, "Oh yeah, I don't know why anybody want to do that." Well, everybody don't have what he had, you know.
Depends on where you live
And
and
it
all
all,
that.
and you always hear that. Well, depends on, and it does depend on your lifestyle.
It
So
does, and where you live over there. Or
don't
anywhere.
think. And a lot of folks, they go, "Oh, I'm going to live
Hold
in a
on.
province. I'm going to live in a province. It's not going to take much." Then all of a sudden they're over there and they go, "Well, this is cheap. I'm going to buy more of this, more of that." All of a sudden, you know,
Yeah, they burn through their money. I mean,
yeah.
a
So
lot of people have to understand if you have $1,000 in America, you still only have $1,000 in the Philippines.
yeah,
And that's
I
it.
it
You
cost
still
me
got to manage the money.
over there cost me $100 for my meds. That's what I.
So, but you
All,
still have a finite amount of money, and that's it. So
I
money doesn't grow on a tree over there, just like it doesn't grow on a tree here.
I'm the last one to just wing it and say, throw caution to the wind and go, well, I want to do this. If I'm living over there and I got so-called $500 a month or 800, bucks a month, and that's stupid. As much as I want to, that's stupid.
It is. And if you got that little money, then you're going to live like a poor Filipino.
And
And if
then
you
and
don't
then
live
you
like a poor Filipino, then that's great. You do your thing.
and
But
then you
that's
end
what
up
you're going to be. You're going to be poor in the Philippines.
yeah, you end up being uh, you end up, especially if you get a wife and you have a couple of kids or a kid or two, you're like all of a sudden you just compounded your problems.
But right, what Kiko's saying is the wrong thing is when the family doesn't have a structure in place. So when the dude, the American guy or the foreigner, they kill over dead, the $1,000 a month is no longer coming in. And then you have this family stuck in a void, a vacuum that causes it to collapse. Because now what do?
That is the shittiest thing. I don't care who they are. That is the shittiest thing that a person could do to another person. It is
It is, but I think what you
after
have to look at though is what my question is the Filipina who meets this guy, is she willing to gamble on that because
you
she
know,
knows at least she gets 10 years of better living than she would have had, even though she has kids now and the husband kills over dead and we're screwed again.
well,
But at
if
least she got 10 years of decency.
if you remain living where you were living before you met the guy, that's not improving nothing. You're right in the same place you always
I
were,
totally agree.
with a bunch of promises as to this, that, and the other thing. I know other countries, they can collect their Social Security like we can, and
Philippines has Social Security as long as they paid in the work credits, just like
you. But some countries, you got to go your max retirement age. Period.
I
Uh,
mean, you just pay in your credits in the Philippines, just like here.
well, if you go over there and you're 50 and you don't get stuff anything till you're 67, that's a long time. And then you're on the web, and you say you're on YouTube here. What do you do? Well, if you're banking on making money off of this, which they keep making it harder and harder,
You're not
for
going to.
you're fooling yourself
You are. Unless you're
because
willing to pimp out your wife on YouTube, you're not going to make any money.
you're gonna run in anything that's going good. Sometimes has a lull, or you hit the end, and that's as good as it's gonna get. So you got to do something else.
Yeah.
Tony, you
Any
know the mindset. We never rely on something that might be. You and I want to know something is gonna be for sure,
yeah,
right?
this
We
I
plan. We plan as best we can. Of course, life
yeah
as things
yeah
happen, but you
I
plan for the long haul, not just
That's it.
I
you know.
I that's why I say I've been thinking about where I'd wanted to be in my retirement since I was 16 years old. How many 16-year-olds think that way? I knew based on where I lived and how I was living, what I didn't want.
Exactly.
I don't want to live in this shithole house in any
Yeah.
city with nothing
I
like
didn't
my
know
father.
what I wanted, but I knew what I did not want.
Yeah, exactly. So you eventually you'll get some. You'll get what you want by not putting up with or being satisfied with
All right,
living.
guys, we've been on here 2 hours. So, Anthony, are you doing yours on Friday again?
Yeah, I guess I will. Yeah.
Well, you don't have.
Well,
If we beg him, he will.
if you beg me, yeah. If you
I'm gonna.
spend David, if you spend an hour and 40 minutes on my thing, I'll do it.
If you buy both his Camaros from him,
Well, I
Yeah.
offered $1 a piece, and he said no.
we'll just wait till the day before he flies out.
I
We'll
thought that was.
lowball him.
I thought that was.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole different subject with the um you should have. I don't know if you've ever done one like that. Financially, are people financially ready for having a life in the Philippines
Yeah,
outside.
yeah. What are your financial expectations?
Yeah,
once you go to
exactly.
the Philippines?
And
You know,
there's no maybe about it, you know.
I'll tell you what,
and the
we'll put
thing is,
that on the calendar, not next Tuesday, because we're going to talk about marriage. Maybe the
Oh
week
no,
after,
I might be late. I might have to cancel on that one.
about your marriage.
yeah,
I'm kidding.
Tony's going to be on the other side of the world here pretty soon.
That's
I'm
right. We're
kidding.
canceling on your marriage, though.
I'm
So.
only kidding, but I think it's awfully important that those people out there that are listening now that are maybe thinking of doing that. If you already got yourself in that fix already, you got to think of what you might have to take a break from that for a while and then come back to it.
That's
But
it.
Yeah,
you really need to plan.
You do.
You know, a sweet.
from from my experience, the Filipino female that I have, they're not too concerned about future planning. They're not. They're like, well, whatever happens tomorrow, as
But
long
I
as we're
know
okay today. I said, yeah, that's good.
I
But you
know
have children now. You know?
me. I don't want to leave my kid in a
All right,
poverty.
right.
That I can't.
So
I
we'll see
can't.
you guys on Anthony's at 5:15?
5:15. Be there. Be square. Yeah,
And then I'm doing 7 p.m.s now because it's summertime because I want to go out and enjoy the daylight when the weather gets warmed up. And so our summer schedule is 7 p.m.
Hey,
So,
I got a good idea for a channel. Now that you said PM, we could have maybe the wife do a premenstrual show.
oh, Jesus. She's going to come in here and kick you in the nuts.
Okay,
All right,
we'll
guys.
find out real shortly if she's listening.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right,
All right,
guys.
good
See
night.
ya.
Take care.
Adios.